sing the thunder song.
Wait.
When you hear the sound of thunder, don't you get too scared. Just grab your thunder buddy and say these magic words.
Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Thunder Buddies podcast. I'm Anthony Slater. Eric Horn is actually in the air to Oakland, so he's not with us. I'm going to be flying a little later this afternoon. Barry Tremmel, who is with us, is flying tonight. Separate flights for everybody.
Red Sox, 25 cabs.
What just happened? What was that?
Where?
Red Sox 25 cabs. What was that?
Oh, that's the old line about the Red Sox and their lack of team chemistry.
Oh.
25 players, 25 cabs. They took 25 cabs to the ballpark.
That's a good line.
Nobody shared a cab,
James
even
Harden.
to Fenway. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, going out to Oakland, and the Thunder are going to be going out right around the time I am on their charter flight, and they got a chance to close this thing out.
Right
Shocking.
now, you'd sort of be surprised if they didn't.
I don't know. I would. The Warriors will be favored tomorrow, and they should. Can this 73-win historic team with ultimate pride really just lay down in Oracle Arena to
But
close
here's
this
the
season?
problem.
I just don't see it.
Are they laying down?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean,
They've
somebody
just-
asked me, what can Golden State do to get back in this series? And I said, what they need to do is have everybody on the team grow their arms and legs about 2 inches, and they'll be a lot better off.
Draymond Green looks small right now, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, he's playing guys 5 inches, 4 inches taller than him.
Yeah, they're also playing pretty terribly as far as like just they're doing. You know, they're
messing
having a
up.
lot of turnovers that
Unforced errors.
We've been killing the Thunder for all year, which is like just throwing it in the hands.
And the Thunder's got some of their goofy turnovers are at least aggressive.
Now,
Green last night was just a bunch of he's just hitting the ball into the net.
going in that game, I was like, man, he's either going to be incredible and he's going to like be talking smack to the crowd and he's just going to go off and the Warriors are going to win, or he's just going to tank. And he tanked. What I mean, were you surprised? I mean, that's a guy who, is known to be like this incredibly mentally strong dude who seemed to kind of be melting in OKC last night. Last 2 games.
I mean, I don't know enough. I've always liked Draymond Green as a player. I don't know what makes him tick, but I can tell you this: I lost some respect for him when he kicked Steven Adams and the family jewels. There's nothing cool about that.
Yeah.
The right now, I was being facetious about growing the arms and growing the legs, but literally that's the Warriors' best. That's been their best tactic in Oklahoma City. In 2 games, their best tactic was let's try to dismember Steven Adams. See if we can get by with that.
Draymond Green in 3 games in Oklahoma City this year, 2 of 24 shooting. And
He didn't make one at all in
0-8. Remember, he was 0-8.
He was
scoreless,
0-8 on
but
the Saturday night special.
Yeah, but he had 14 rebounds, 14 assists, so he did have a pretty good game. But yeah,
they don't let him shoot unless he just wants to jack up a
Should he
27-footer. Well,
I mean, he's missing everything at the rim. Like, he's not shooting. He's 2 of 24. He's 1 of 7 last night and 1 of 9 the game before, and 0 of 8 last time.
they're not letting him have easy shots. Is what I'm saying. I mean, his only free shot is when he steps back off the 3-point line. Even at the 3-point line, he's not open. He's got to scoot back.
But I mean, he's not like, to me, that's like Russell Westbrook shooting a step back 3.
I know, that's what I'm saying. He can't find a shot anywhere else. If he goes inside, he can't get it over Adams.
What you're saying is the Thunder's not letting him
Thunder's
shoot.
not letting him shoot.
Okay, I thought you meant the Warriors. I thought Kerr's. You thought
No.
meant
The
Kerr's
Thunder's
and-
not letting him shoot, or not letting him shoot an easy shot. Think about it this way, AC. The last 2 games. I'm sorry, the 2 of the last 3 games. The Warriors have really. No, the last 3 games. Golden State has had good offensive stretches only
when he was off the floor.
when Steph Curry went completely nuts. And then last night when Klay Thompson went completely nuts.
I thought Klay Thompson was going to win it for a little while there.
You
in
can't
that
keep
third.
that up. You can't keep that up.
Well, I've seen 37-point quarter
Yeah.
before. Klay Thompson can keep that up. It's hard to do. I wrote about it a little bit. I thought the biggest play of the game was.
It was a good play. It was a good point.
It wasn't
Steven
even
Adams.
I mean, it wasn't even like a great play. It's just like Steven Adams with a bunch of small guys around him gets an offensive rebound. He's done it plenty of times, but I don't know what Thompson's doing. He should, with the way he's scorching, either let Adams dunk it or there was literally 5 guys around him.
Did you see what happened on that play?
Barnes raised his hand.
Barnes raised his hand immediately, saying, "Put it on me. Put
Tim
it
Duncan
on me."
came in the building and said, "I'll take that one." Yeah. I mean, so Thompson gets his 4th foul, goes to the bench, and then, doesn't reheat after that. And he didn't reheat, and Steph Curry never got hot. Do you buy the narrative right now around him that
I think it's lame.
A little bit, I think.
Was he 70% when he got so hot in game 2?
Or the Portland game? Overtime?
Yeah. It's a good point. Here's the deal about Steph Curry. I mean, I'm sure he's not 100%. Let me tell you who else isn't 100%. Steven Adams isn't 100%. But
Steven Adams is like 1% right now. Did you see him? First of all, did you see him? First of all, I looked at the replay. Like, he badly sprained his ankle, it looked like, in that first quarter. After Draymond Green on the first play just raked down on his injured hand. Like, the next play or like 3 plays later, he sprains his ankle. Did you see what he did when he was on the ground? I just love him.
I did not see it.
He started punching himself in the head.
Really?
He just punching himself right in the forehead, and it was just like, you could tell he's just like, "You're not hurt, Steven. Stop it, Steven." He's crazy. But yeah, no, you're right. The thing is, Curry doesn't have that same driving burst that you see sometimes, but also like the Thunder are just a nightmare in his head right now.
Well, and, the Thunder, he's a great player. But the Thunder, Curry's a great driver, acrobatic finisher in the lane. But he's trying to finish over these guys that have these incredible long arms, over a bunch of giraffes and half giraffe, half octopus.
Who Billy Donovan has suddenly like infused 5-hour energies like directly into their veins.
Yeah, Durant's playing out of his mind defensively. Ibaka's playing out of his mind defensively. Andre Robertson is not any kind of guy you can shoot over.
No.
And then so your option is maybe I can go in there against Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
That's your best option.
Where if that's like the guy you might think might be the weak link on defense, him or Waiters, who's like, Waiters is a bully for a 2-guard.
It's turned into a nightmare for Golden State.
And then who we didn't even mention. I mean, I know he's not in their small ball lineup, but Adams is probably the best defender on the team.
Yeah.
I mean, consistently.
Right.
I think Durant at his peak, where he's playing like this, is maybe the most disruptive. Did you see that steal he had when Livingston stole it from him and then tried to throw it over?
Yeah.
Livingston probably threw it 20 feet in the air.
Well, yeah.
He just went up and like gumbo.
They're playing well. Their defense is really impressive. That's, to me, the most impressive thing is not the offense with Ibaka shooting well, with Robertson turning it into a double-digit machine. The most impressive thing is the way that defense is just hounding the Warriors.
Yeah, you see Robertson's stat line?
Yeah, 17, 12, 5 steals, 3 assists,
2 blocks.
2 blocks. Yeah, he's
plus 25 in 40 minutes.
He's a ball player. Just ask him.
Suddenly.
Just ask him.
Not suddenly, but suddenly.
Just ask him if he's not a ball player.
Oh yeah. No, it's a good point. It's weird because I don't know. I mean, he's a guy that literally has to watch film with his teammates online, whatever, and he just has to sit there. Like, think about him watching film between games 2 and 3, where probably the entirety of their strategic planning as a team was like, Andre, we got to figure something out here. They're acting like you're invisible. They don't care about you at all. Like, he told me last night he felt disrespected by it, and like, how could you not? And then you got a guy like, I'm sitting there asking him questions, and I'm like, hey, man, you had like 3 assists tonight. Like, you're doing some things, you passed it to Russell Westbrook for, a bucket, which, to be fair, is stuff we've never seen him before. But, I mean, you got to remember, this guy's an NBA player. He probably averaged like 7, 8 assists in high school. You know what I mean? When, people weren't good. Like, this is a star player. But I'm sitting there like, hey, man, nice pass tonight. Where'd that come from? So, yeah, he looked at me. He's like, dude, I'm a basketball player. Like, I know how to do these things. But it has been a shock how much he's grown. I didn't see his growth coming in these playoffs.
You know who the star of the series is?
Westbrook, Durant.
Billy Donovan.
Yeah, no,
Billy Donovan's the star of the
It's
series.
a good point.
I mean,
He's really opened things up for
he's found a way to use Golden State's apparent strength against it, which was, hey, leave Andre Robertson alone. He didn't really do that. You know, San Antonio did a lot of that, but
not like
Billy
this.
didn't take advantage of it the way he is here.
Well, and the Spurs didn't do it like the Warriors
the Spurs
did
played
it.
a guy just in the paint and tried to avoid the defensive three.
And like acknowledged he existed.
Yeah, the Warriors are, you know, at least
The
in
Warriors
game
are a
two,
little brash about it.
they're basically just double teamed. Whoever's guarding Robertson, just go tackle the
It's
man with the
usually
ball.
Green, who is
Yeah.
like
Go double team Durant. Go double team Westbrook. And Billy said, if you're going to do that, you're going to pay.
Yeah, he's scored 13 or more points 5 times in his entire career. 3 of them in the last 5 games. I mean, credit to Billy, but also credit to Robertson. He's hitting threes too. He's 9 of 16 from 3 the last 5. That's crazy.
It is
I mean,
crazy.
that's not Donovan. He's
well.
hitting threes. I mean,
Yeah, and they're not all from the corner.
no.
The one he sang last night was a wing, which was my favorite play. It was a alley-oop to Durant. In traffic, I don't know why Russ threw him the ball. There was not any.
Because that's what he does.
Yeah, there was no opening there. But Durant being Durant and the Warriors being the Warriors, Durant got to the ball. He didn't have the freedom to dunk. He just had the freedom to somehow catch it and come down falling and save it to Robertson before he went out of bounds. Robertson's open on the wing, fires up, down it goes.
They have instilled that confidence in him to shoot it. There's so much, like, first of all, we obviously should be talking about they haven't even closed this series out. They have potentially an NBA Finals ahead of them. But this series is, like, really changed the potential for this team moving forward. Like, all these young guys playing this well, like, how good can this team be? Like, I keep thinking, once Steven Adams gets a summer and he's coming in next year, and like, how good's he going to be next year? Robertson, now he's going to be more confident than ever. Dion Waiters, Canner, I mean, as a tool off the bench. I mean, Westbrook and Durant are still going to be 28 years old, assuming KD stays.
Cameron Payne's going to be better.
Cameron Payne is suddenly, you get him in that Foy role, and if he can really grow,
yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
If you're the Warriors, remember how the storyline all year was like the Thunder, doesn't matter how good they are, they got this roadblock in front of them. The Warriors. Like, It's a historic roadblock. Now, if you're the Warriors, you're like, man, we thought we had a dynasty coming. We might have a roadblock in front of us.
Well, think about this storyline that
he'd go to
he's going to go to Durant's going to Golden State. You know, maybe Golden State needs to get Durant just to derail the Thunder.
I got a question.
Yes.
If you brought a piece of paper into Sam Presti's office and said, you do it in mid-April, you bring a piece of paper into his office and say, Sam, I want you to script the playoffs. They will go exactly how you write down is how the playoffs will go. Is this it? I mean.
Well, I mean, I think he'd preferred you go ahead and not lose some of those games. But it's a good one. It's a good one.
I mean, like, literally every single person he's taking a chance on is working right now. Billy Donovan, as you mentioned, Carlisle, Popovich, Kerr. I mean, Robertson, the 26th overall pick that he gets. We talked about how good he is.
Canner.
Adams, the Canner move, Waiters, getting him for a late first.
How about
pick.
this? This playoff series and the previous has literally, not figuratively, validated the James Harden trade.
Yeah. Although the way I'll put it, because a lot of people are saying that now, that's becoming like the thing. Like every time Adams plays well, and look, I mean,
I mean, in the public marketplace. I'm not talking about literally, but I'm just talking about in the public marketplace. 3 weeks ago, ask most NBA people, what do you think of the James Harden trade? Oh, the Thunder's idiots.
Atrocious.
Ask them now, and they say, hey, they got a pretty good ball player for James Harden.
Yeah, and like it wasn't a banner year for Harden either. The funny thing is, like, when Presti made that move, like he made it for he made it for all the pieces, obviously, but Lamb was the guy that he missed on. But the thing is, he's such a good drafter over the years. I mean, to pluck Adams at 12 in that terrible draft is where he saved the trade. But
yeah, well, that's why trades are good. That's what you do is acquire assets and turn those assets into ball players.
yeah, no, it's man. Who on the court is your MVP of the series, Westbrook or Durant? Can you even pick? I mean,
I'd be hard-pressed to pick, but Durant's defense might be the difference.
I think so, too.
But Westbrook's playing well.
36, 11, and 11 last
Westbrook's
night.
playing well. He's dishing the ball like John Stockton. His assists are like Chris Paul.
Yeah, I mean, he's 12, 12, 12, 11 in this series. And I think he's got like 3 or so free throw assists per game, which, just, it leads
he's
to
playing. He's playing fantabulous. No doubt about it.
That's an interesting word. Durant's defense. I mean, what do you now think of this season behind like that they just played? Do you think Donovan just kind of used it as a lab and he tweaked here and there?
You know what? Yes, I do think that there was a lot of San Antonio spurring going on. We forget this. The Spurs in the last 4 or 5 years have made an art of being great in the regular season. People forget that they used to not really care about the regular season.
Yeah.
And we still know that they sit guys, but they used to, they'd win 52 and not care. 52 in Oklahoma City is a disastrous year. People think, what's wrong? 55, everybody was angst. But I think Billy said, we're going to use this to work on our defense. We're gonna experiment with our defense. We're going to change our defense. Then he changed it again after the All-Star break.
Yeah.
And it's paying off. Now, I mean, you look at that switching they do virtually every possession with the Golden Staters, and they're just in position, and there's a new guy covering Klay Thompson thinks, I'll switch. And, the key to this series really was playing Enes Kanter less. That's really what we all love the menace. But when you got him off the court, Golden State suddenly was thinking, no matter what we do, we got a good defender on one of our good guys.
And you know what I like about Billy in this series? He knows how important Kanter has been to this team, will be for this team in the finals and moving forward. And he knows Kanter's psyche, which is like, that guy wants to feel important. You know what? It's not Steven Adams where it's like, so, okay, coach, I will only play 9 minutes. Fine. Okay, coach, I'll play 48 minutes. It's like Kanter cares about numbers and stats and stuff like that, which, a lot of guys do. Serge Ibaka does. But what I liked about Billy is, like, you're right. Like, he's kind of taking him out of the rotation. But you know what happened last night? Kerr went to Varejao at one point late in the third, right when Donovan saw Varejao come to the scorer's table. Ennis. He wants to squeak out some playing time for Ennis, just so Ennis feels involved.
He only had 8.5 minutes last night. And after game 1, we thought Kanter's going to be needing to play 20, 25 minutes.
We thought they had to go big to win. I don't know how many times I've said on this podcast and said they cannot go small. They have to stay big because their wings are not what their big men are. But the truth is they found 2 that are. Dion Waiters is playing out of his mind right now. Andre Robertson, I mean, we discussed it. They've used his offense as a tool instead of as a hindrance. And then Randy Foy's steady enough that, I mean, they only play those 3 guys. It's not like they're dipping into Kyle Singler and Anthony Morrow. They're just using this specific small ball lineup. And Durant, and I think you really got to give Ibaka credit the last 2 games. He found resurgence between games 2 and 3.
He's running around wreaking havoc. Not just at the rim, all over the court, flying through the air for rebounds. Put the ball on the floor and went to the hoop last night.
That was a huge that was not a huge play. I mean, it was very early in the game, but it was just like, wow, Serge.
Yeah,
it wasn't even just put on the floor. He caught it, pump faked in the corner, saw Curry was on him, kind of went to the post. Curry went for like a poke-away steal, got by him, pump fakes on Andrew Bogut in the air, and then lays it in. I mean, it was just a play you never see Serge make.
We just saw so many cool plays down the stretch last night. The Robert Durant to Robertson. Durant assisting on Robertson twice in a 4-possession span, which is just, you never see that.
Well, then Robertson, 2 quick assists.
And then Adams had the 2 big assists, the bullet pass.
Those were hilarious.
I can't remember. I'm trying to find where that was.
It was in the second quarter. It was during the second quarter run. The no-look pass, and then right after he bullets it.
Yeah, Adams had assists to Robertson.
2, both of them were to Robertson.
2 and 3 possessions. And then in the fourth quarter, Durant to Robertson twice in a short span.
And I believe in the middle of that, it was Robertson to Westbrook.
Yeah, I think that's right. So, you just saw the ball moving around and doing all kinds of cool things. And what's the best part is when you see that as a player, when you're a player and your coach has been preaching it, and then you get out and experience it in a game, it just makes you buy in all the more. And you buy in offensively, you buy in defensively, and things are going great for the Thunder.
Yeah. No, it's like it's kind of a snowball with this team right now. It's confidence. It's understanding and like utilization of its length, of its coaching staff. What do you think about okay, so like there's this like movement from the fan base they're really trying to get really from the organization. They're trying Draymond Green trips Canner. Purposely. He did it purposely. So there's just like flagrant, upgrade that because then he'd be suspended because it'd be his 4th flagrant point. First of all, the Thunder, like, did they really have to show that like 900 times? I guess. I mean, were they trying to pump up the fans? Were they trying to alert the refs? Like, why are they showing that?
Well,
in the
I think they were showing the I think they were showing the fans. I mean, the refs aren't affected by that stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
they're going to be trying to show the league
Here's the
today.
question. Do you want Draymond Green off the court?
I mean, to be honest, like if the Thunder are just strictly worried about winning this, like they just want to win the series at all costs. Yeah, I mean, like, look, I know he's played bad the last couple games, but they're about to be home. He's an all-star. Like they don't have, as you've mentioned, like okay, if he's off the court, then is Maurice Spates getting 30 minutes a night? Yes, if you're the Thunder and like you could pick, and all you care about is getting to the finals, you want him off the court, but personally, if you're the Thunder, in my perspective, beat this team at full strength. Mash this 73-win team so they don't have any excuses.
I will say this. If Draymond Green somehow got suspended, I don't think he will.
No, I don't think he should.
But if he did.
That's not near. Like, that happens. I think Westbrook did it to him. So if they – the thing is they could probably upgrade both those and only one of them gets suspended. Go ahead.
But if he did, I don't think it's any kind of excuse. I don't think it's any kind of card Golden State can play that says, see, we were shorthanded. Because Draymond Green and the Warriors were handed a get-out-of-jail-free card on Monday by the NBA. If they squander that, if he does something stupid that gets him suspended for Game 5, that goes to his deficiency as a player. If he hadn't got any more sense than that, then that's like a bad foul shooter. It's like saying, well, we'd have won if our guy could make more foul shots.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but he can't make foul shots, which is part of the problem. So if something happens and Draymond Green doesn't play, I don't think that mars the series. I think that just shows that Golden State was not quite the team we thought. By the way, I messed up on my report card.
What'd you do?
I left out something.
Go ahead.
I should have graded the hack strategy.
Worked.
Well, it worked for the Thunder, but it also worked for the Warriors.
On Robertson.
Robertson would have had 20 points if he'd have made 5 out of 8
They
foul
hacked
shots.
Robertson at the same time Adams was on the court. Tells you Steven Adams is
much
whatever.
better.
As screwed up as his thumb is, he's been stroking.
Yeah.
I think he was 7-8 from the free throw line.
I was not crazy about the use of the hack, and here's why. Billy used it first 2 times, I think, with Ibaka fouling and then Robertson fouling. And it was each of them's first foul, which is fine. Except you got to think down the stretch, you might need those fouls. And sure enough, Ibaka got his fourth late third quarter. Now, it turns out it worked out fine. But, man, I don't like giving away fouls like that.
I'll tell you what, I did like when the Thunder did it, which they were on a heavy run. Golden State calls timeout. They come back on the floor, and Donovan fouls right out of the timeout. You know, Kerr's probably got an after timeout play to maybe get Curry a three or something.
Yeah, you're right. I thought that was pretty
I like that strategy. And you know what? Azili missed both, and then Durant comes down and hits a jumper. And then it's just extended the lead and, like, regained the momentum lost during the timeout. So I like that. But what else have you liked from Donovan in this series?
His plays out of timeouts have been very good. Now, not so much last night, but throughout the series they've been very good. I've liked his rotations. He seems to have the magic button on how long to play people. You know, I was worried, you know, like last night when they took out Westbrook, they struggled. They'd been handling it okay. Last night they struggled, but he got him back in quick. He got Foy out pretty quick last night. I didn't think that was one of Foy's better games.
He wasn't very good.
But his rotations have been very solid. I got nothing bad to say about any decision, bench type decisions he's made. He seems to really have his pulse on what needs to happen.
What else piques your interest in this series?
Oh, I mean, I'd like to see how the Thunder responds with a little bit of a, you know, last night was a pressurized game for the Thunder. It was for the Warriors too, but it was for the Thunder. You lose then, it's 2-2, and you're behind the 8 ball. Now they're sort of coasting. I want to see how they play when they're coasting. They really haven't been in this situation against the Spurs or the Warriors.
Yeah, and you know what's kind of – look, I think a lot of things have fueled this run. But I think one of them is like a doubt about them. A doubt that they're anything close to the Spurs. A doubt that they could beat the Warriors. I don't think they're – even when they blew out the Warriors in Game 3 and it was like, you know, there was like – it kind of tilted to, whoa, this Thunder team could win this series. But now it's like everyone thinks they're going to win this series. Everyone's praising them today. There's not one person saying one bad word about anyone, literally anybody on the Thunder today. So, you know, I think they're old enough. This isn't back in 2012. This is kind of a weathered team that's handled the criticism, knows that praise comes, and then, you know, if they suddenly lost, criticism would come back. But how do they handle, you know, especially the young guys, like, you know, the Robertsons, Waiters, like, now they're searching their name on Twitter, and all they're seeing is positivity. Does that get to their head?
I don't know. You think they are? Do they do that?
Hell yeah.
It's not very smart.
I know what you're saying, but like everyone does it. I mean, like you don't because you don't have Twitter. But you know what? If somebody came in and talked to you after your job and you knew they were going to go home after they talked to you and write about your performance, critically, critically, and if you had a terrible day, would you read it? Would you read it?
No. If I had a bad day, is that what you said?
Yeah.
If I had a bad day and I knew I had a bad game writing and reporting and all that stuff.
You'd read it. I don't care.
You
would.
No, I don't.
You couldn't resist the urge.
I could resist.
If
I knew I played bad, I wouldn't.
You know who? Okay, let's say you didn't. You know who probably would? Your wife, and she'd come to you and say,
she doesn't. She barely reads what I write in the first place. So
I'm just okay. And you know what? You definitely would read if you had a fantastic day. You'd probably spend the entire night reading about how great you are. If somebody came and just wrote a glowing feature about how you're the best sports columnist, just how you've just killed playoff coverage, don't even act like you wouldn't read it. You'd read it and you'd enjoy it, and you couldn't help yourself.
Well, here's the deal. The answer might be yes, but if somebody was coming in, or multiple people, if 5, 6, 8, 10 people were coming in day after day after day, eventually I'd say, you know what? I got things to do. I got to go to the grocery store. I got to go to practice. I got to go to work.
These guys don't have to do. anything but basketball right now. Basically, they're on the plane, they're going here, there. Do you see how much they're on their phones?
Yeah, you may be right. You
they
know more about
read
this
everything.
thing.
They read everything about themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
so they read what I write about.
like Enes Kanter reads about Enes Kanter. He's not read like if you write a column about Donovan or something tomorrow, Enes Kanter's not reading that. If you write about Enes Kanter tomorrow, he's reading that. Which, like, I'm not trying to act like anyone like we have some type of special coverage. Anyone would read critiques of themselves about their job if it's out there on the web. And
I guess what I'm saying is too much of the critiques, though. There were literally, 40 people wrote about Andre Robertson last night.
It's not even as much the articles as it is literally searching their name on Twitter and then just going through every single tweet that just says their name. Who do you think's the guy on the team you would assume would care the least about what people say?
Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook one time accidentally tweeted Russell Westbrook. It wasn't because he just – it's like me if I just tweeted right now Anthony Slater. People are like, well, hi, that's funny. Why would he tweet that? It's because he meant to search it on Twitter, and he actually hit tweet instead of search. So he clearly, like, he reads about himself.
You clearly know more about this subject than I do.
Oh,
so I'm not trying to say I know. I'm not trying to.
I don't know how we even. Oh, because we're talking about does the success get to their head?
That's up to Billy Donovan. Hate to put it on Billy, but he needs to keep them hungry and keep them fighting, and he needs to let them know. And we talked about this last night, me and you, the joy and the thrill of closing out on the road. I mean, you love to do it in front of your crowd and everybody's roaring, but there's something cool about winning on the road. That's one of the more euphoric feelings in sport. When you win a big road game in football or baseball or basketball, that's a feeling. And if Donovan can sell those guys on that, I think they'll sell out and at least give themselves a chance.
Yeah. It's interesting. We're talking about Presti scripting the playoffs. If the Thunder, as an organization, probably scripted their ideal way to go through this playoffs, it's obviously beating the Spurs like they did. I think it would be closing out the Warriors and Oracle. Closing out this historic, can you imagine down the stretch if they close this team out? And then I think their preference would be then to win the title at home. Obviously, like I'm talking ideal world. They can't just go picking and choosing this stuff. But I think they'd want to win the title at home, right? After closing out the Warriors on the road.
Probably. Yeah, probably so. Yeah, and I don't know if they have any bad feelings about Cleveland.
I mean,
only
one player
I don't think,
has.
But I think there's some.
Dion Buckets wants to close it out.
Yeah, but I think there's some bad feelings about Golden
Buckets.
State because of Draymond Green, because of this notion that Golden State has stolen the mantle and everybody else in the league is inferior, and the idea that the Warriors have invented a new way to play that is vastly superior.
Yeah,
I think they would have some enjoyment at silencing
in
the city of
Oracle?
Oakland. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think they would enjoy that.
In among the tech gurus with Joe Lacob sitting courtside, we're light years ahead. But would there be any more joyful moment for anyone in the entire organization than if Dion Waiters could hit a corner three in Cleveland to seal a series? Buckets! He
would enjoy it.
He might explode if that happened.
He would enjoy it, no doubt about it.
Anything else before we get out of here?
I don't know. We got to get to practice, and then we got to
gotta
get to separate flights and reconvene in Oakland, California.
Yeah, we do. I'm good. This should be interesting to see them attempt to close this out, and then if they do, to see 2-2 in the East. 2-2 in the East. I mean, I think we are both pretty sure it'd be Cleveland, to the point that we were looking at flights and we were looking at Cleveland flights and not Toronto flights. But any shot in your mind Toronto can pull it out?
Sure. I don't think they will, but they got a shot.
Yeah.
They got two players that if they get hot, they can win any game. So, I think they got a shot, but I don't think it's very high. I'm clearly going to favor the Cavs. Probably the Cavs in 6. mean, Cleveland, when they've won easy. When Toronto's won, it's been a little more difficult. That's generally a good sign. That's the best sign for the Thunder. It's not that the Thunder's, stolen a couple of games. You can argue that the Spurs have played the Thunder a lot tougher than the Warriors have. I mean, they've clocked their cleans here the last 2 games.
Yeah, but I also do think the Thunder found themselves out mid-series against the Spurs. The Spurs, they were like kind of warming themselves up against the Spurs, and I think what the Spurs series allowed them was to go into the Warriors series with extreme confidence about themselves.
Yeah, all I'm saying is, though, that you win back-to-back games by 28 and what was last night, 24?
Whatever it was.
It was,
blowout.
18 24. You win by 28 and 24. I mean, that's significant. That's more than just winning twice. Yeah. That's a symbol of something. So it's a symbol of superiority is what it is. If you win 107, 104, and then 108 to 106.
Which was the entire Spurs series until Game 6, you're right.
That's a sign that you've made the plays when they counted. They didn't make the plays when they counted. They just dominated this team.
Yeah, it's crazy how different things could have turned if Adams doesn't get back in Game 2 against the Spurs, if Mills hits a corner 3, if something happens late in Game 5 in San Antonio where Kawhi gets the foul, Spurs hit the 3, go on to win. That series could have tilted.
Yeah, San Antonio has played more competitively than has Golden State.
All right, interesting. We will talk to you again. Oh man, when it's gonna be tough to podcast.
We can podcast in the middle of the night. Right. If we got those 5:30 a.m. flights, just podcast after the game.
Yeah, that's possible.
Go to the airport. Do it at the airport.
All right, we will talk to you again at some point. Don't promise the fans anything here because you know what? I'm not sure. I brought the podcast kit in the car, so we'll see.
Durant pull-up jumper off the rim and and the Thunder win! Come on, let's sing the Thunder song. When you hear the sound of thunder, don't you get too scared. Just grab your Thunder buddy and say these magic words.